Hey there, my good friends. John Michaelides here. It is Thursday, December 3rd, another week of my pre-foreclosure investing challenge using the short sales riches system. Hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I think I'm still full, but I'm always full. I'm an eater for sure. Gosh, Christmas season coming up, Hanukkah season coming up. Just amazing. This year is flying by, isn't it? Hey, listen, this week I wanted to talk about the importance of getting your paperwork right. And what prompts it is I got a call. Actually, a friend of mine on Facebook said she had gotten a call from someone who needed help with a short sale transaction down here in the Sarasota area, and could I help? So she put us in contact, and the guy wound up giving me a call, and we talked for probably a good 20-30 minutes on short sale transactions, how to structure them properly and such. And he's got a deal, and what he's looking for was a capital partner, because he's got a transaction that he needs to be able to close on, and he doesn't have an end buyer contract in place yet, so he's going to need long-term funding, probably hard money. And we talked about how if it had been structured a little bit differently, maybe he wouldn't have run into these last-minute challenges. One thing he wasn't doing in his contract is putting in his contracts that I am an investor and I will promptly be reselling the property for profit. This was a Bank of America deal, and he was concerned about Bank of America having a clause in there stating that he's not allowed to resell. And I mentioned to him, well, did you have this clause in the contract up front? Obviously, it's a lot harder for someone to say, no, you can't do that, when you've disclosed up front and through the whole negotiation process, it's been known out there in the open that you're an investor and will promptly resell. So that's one little thing that he needed to tweak. And there was he wasn't familiar with transactional funding. Thought it was 10% and such, and I talked to him a little bit about transactional funding, and I gave him a lead, a referral of someone to talk to regarding that. He also was taking the property in his own name as opposed to an entity, and that's not the right way to do it for a couple reasons. Number one, if something goes wrong, you'd like to have that cushion of an intermediary entity rather than you personally being the brunt of, let's say, a lawsuit or whatever it is. So liability issues, shielding is one reason. And also, if you're using transactional funding, a transactional funder, because of different usury laws with respect to interest rates and such, needs to be lending to an entity as opposed to an individual. The laws with respect to what rates you can charge to an individual are different with respect to a business, which is why you want an Inc. or LLC is what I typically recommend. But there was a lot of just basic things. He had a good deal, $50,000 spread, but it's possible that he may end up losing the deal just because of a few simple little tweaks that should have happened right up front. Because now if he wants to use transactional funding, which he should, which he didn't know about, he's going to have to put it into an entity, but the contract was already submitted under an individual, so now he's got to go back to the lender and say, I want to change the name of the party. And you see all these little things that if you structure everything correctly going through, you won't have to worry about it. And I also emphasize the importance of getting that end buyer, making sure he has that end buyer contract in place. I said, don't worry about squeezing top dollar out of this. Your main number one priority right now is to get an end buyer contract, because actually, God forbid, you get an approval tomorrow, and you've got to close in 30 days. That's it, and you don't want to have to back out of such a deal. So get your end buyer contract in place. Don't worry about getting an extra on a $50,000 spread. Take a $30,000 spread to know that you have a cash buyer and buyer contract. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's That's what I have to say this week. Keep your emails coming in. Keep your contacts coming in. I always enjoy them. And I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.